Traditional, Roth, Roth, traditional. You've probably heard these terms kicked around within the context of saving for retirement. And maybe you have some question. What are these different things people are talking about? What is traditional? Does that mean 401k? Does that mean IRA? Let's go over all that today. So first, let me just say this. This concept of Roth versus traditional savings, it can and does apply both to IRAs and 401ks. Okay, so both IRA and 401k account types can be of a traditional nature or a Roth nature. Okay, and largely the distinction between traditional and Roth is going to be comparable between IRA to 401k. Okay, so just know that. We'll talk about generally traditional and generally Roth, but know that what we're going to cover today as far as the basics is going to apply to either an IRA or a 401k. So let's paint in some broad strokes here. A traditional retirement account, be it a traditional IRA or a traditional 401k, is one in which you contribute pre-tax dollars. Meaning, when you put funds into the account, those funds haven't been taxed yet. So the funds go into the account, you invest them. Check out our other videos on investing basics and how to choose among investment types. But you invest those funds and ideally they grow over time. Now the growth within those accounts is also not taxed. So now you've got funds that you contributed pre-tax and they grow pre-tax. It's only later in your retirement years when you make withdrawals to go and live on that those funds are then taxed. That's traditional retirement accounts. A Roth retirement account, be it a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, you actually make post-tax contributions, meaning you get paid, you pay tax on those dollars, and then you contribute to that Roth account. So now you have these post-tax funds in the account. Then what happens? The growth on those post-tax funds is also not taxed, right? So it grows tax deferred, similar to a traditional IRA. The difference is once you get into retirement and you take a withdrawal from it, it is not taxed. There's rules around it. It has to be a qualified distribution, all that. But if you do it right, the funds go in post-tax, they grow with no tax consequence, and you withdraw, there is no tax due. So the next obvious question is, how does one decide traditional versus Roth? Which one should you save in? Which type of an account should you contribute to? It's a good question. So think about this. Traditional means I don't have to pay tax today, but I do have to pay tax in the future when I withdraw those funds in retirement. Roth is just the opposite. I do pay my tax today, put the funds in, but then I don't have to pay tax in the future. So really the point of comparison becomes, how much tax are you going to be paying today versus in the future? Now, there's an element of speculation here, right? Because we don't know the future. We don't know what tax rates will be in the future. So you do kind of have to do some guessing on that point. But all things being equal, if your tax rate is higher now than it will be in the future, you'd rather pay tax in the future instead of now, right? So you want to do traditional, right? If your tax rate is higher now, you'd rather not have to pay tax on those funds and go ahead and save them and withdraw them later and pay tax at a lower rate. If the opposite is true, you want to go Roth, right? If your tax rate today is lower than it will be in the future, we're like, well, I'll go ahead and pay tax, start my savings off such that in the future when I do my withdrawal, I won't owe tax at that higher rate. So that's the core of what's at stake here, right? You're comparing your tax rate now to your expected, projected future tax rate, and you're kind of deciding. Now, again, there's an element of the unknown there in the future, but there's some general rules of thumb you can apply to this. Typically, when you're at the early stages of your career, just starting out, your income levels are also lower than probably what they will be as your career progresses and you earn more money. So in theory, if your income is lower, also your tax is lower. So maybe that's a guiding principle. Early on, typically contribute to Roth. Once your income exceeds a certain threshold, which is different for each person, you want to switch it over and do traditional and kind of get more tax breaks now. So there you have it. Pay tax now, pay tax later, Roth, traditional. You can do Roth or traditional in 401k or IRA, but basically what it comes down to is comparing those current and future tax rates. So the next time you're charting out your planned savings, in the different investment accounts. Use this video as a resource to help you decide. Send it to your friends, send it to your coworkers. It's a common question we get. So we're glad you enjoyed it. Give us a call if we can help.